I'm supposed to be dieting, but I keep sneaking Taco Bell in on the way home from work.
What a start to an internet post. All right, listen. Hey, buddy.
He's the same height as me. He's about 5'7". So we're matched up nice. Our arms are the same length. It's great.
Zuri, fix that in post that he's 6'7".
Get Phil Jackson the fuck out of here. Get out of here,
agree.
Phil Jackson.
Fuck off.
Go away.
With your little triangles. Get out of here.
Jason.
Yes.
Two things, Jason. Two things
Okay.
to start the show.
One.
First of all, number one, for everybody listening, we have 2 special episodes coming up. Next week's episode is our Christmas Day episode where we hand out
Wonderful.
gifts to every single NBA team. Every team gets one present from us for Christmas. It's very exciting and a very fun little exercise that Zuri came up with. I was very excited to do it. I'm very excited for everybody to hear it. So we have that one coming up next week. And then the week after that, we have our second annual even, player celebration where we take one retired NBA player and then we work our way through that player's entire career over the course of 6 different categories. We're doing Allen Iverson for number 2.
I can't. It's going to be so fun.
We did Kevin Garnett for the first one. We're doing Allen Iverson for the second one. We're only picking the top level, coolest players available. And it's going to be great. So that's the first thing. I just want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. A programming note. Next week, our gift giving episode on Christmas Day. And then the week after that, player celebration, Allen Iverson. All right. This week's episode's a normal episode. We have the conclusion of the NBA Cup. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about. But before we get to that, Jason, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Can you name all 5 members of the Backstreet Boys? Without looking it up. Don't look it up. All right. Go.
Of the Backstreet Boys.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go.
AJ?
That's definitely one of them. It's my favorite one. He's the best.
Okay. Nick?
Nick is another one. Yes. Way to go. Tall, blonde guy. Nick Carter.
Then there is JC Chazet.
Yep. That's in sync. So
Is that shit? Okay, fuck. Wait, okay. There is the tall guy with the beard who is older than everybody.
Yeah, the dad, Kevin. His name is Kevin.
Kevin. Okay, Kevin. So
Good old
I
Kevin.
think that's pretty good. So that's 3.
pretty good.
Well,
That's 3.
That's like a half. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Then there was
one of them. I'm surprised you're missing. The last one I get though. The last one he's hard to remember.
Then there is
Oh man.
did I already do the bad boy one? That's AJ, right?
That's AJ.
AJ is the bad boy.
AJ's the bad one. He's the bad boy. There's a bunch of 40-year-olds and 35-year-olds right now screaming at their.
They really are. I can see their
podcast
beautiful
on.
faces.
How could you forget? They're screaming it right now. The last
Bob?
2 names.
Is one of them Bob?
Bob's one. You got it.
Is it?
No,
Okay,
there's
Bob.
no Bob.
Oh,
Bob's not a
all right.
boy band name.
Who
Bob
are
is
the other ones?
Bob is a factory worker name.
Who are the other ones?
The 2 you're missing, the best singer in the group, Brian.
Oh,
the,
Brian.
main
Yeah,
singer.
the high voice.
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
Brian. Yeah.
And then of course the 5th place finisher, everybody's 5th place finisher is Howie. Everybody forgets about Howie. Just completely forgettable.
Now, I think I'm mixing up Howie. I'd need to look at Howie up. First of all, crazy name.
Crazy
thing to be named in the modern era, Howie. Second of all, I think when I try to picture him into my mind, I think I'm seeing the NSYNC guy with dreads, and
Chris.
I know that's
You're
not
picturing
right.
Chris. No.
Okay.
No. Curious note, interesting note. Chris Kirkpatrick is the one you're thinking of from NSYNC, who had the dreads. AJ at one point also had dreads. Dueling boy bands with white members with dreadlocks.
That's how you tell
Braids.
people that you're a bad boy.
Yeah. is you throw the dreads in.
you throw the dreads in.
I just happened by accident, totally by
Oh, I
accident.
see. Okay, Howie. I remember Howie. Okay, I just looked him up. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
He was in the video. He's the guy dressed up as the vampire. I happened to watch that video this morning, just like music is playing in the background while I'm working.
Yeah,
and I ended up in a boy band funnel, working my way through it. And so now I want to hear Backstreet Boys. I was thinking about Backstreet Boys. I love the Backstreet Boys. I was always Backstreet over NSYNC.
Can I tell you a Backstreet Boys story?
I would love to hear a Backstreet Boys story.
When the most recent GTA came out, GTA 5, I was playing it. I was obsessed with it, as many people were. I was putting in a solid 4 or 5 hours a day on GTA, just driving around. And as you may or may not know, one of the best things about the Grand Theft Auto series is the radio stations in the car. There's like a whole selection of like a dozen radio stations with like different genres: classic rock, pop, electro pop, like Latin American hip hop. And there's a pop station, and I'm driving around. I've got the cops on me. I'm flipping through the radio, and I catch right into the beginning of I Want It That Way.
Oh.
And I was gonna pull into like the the little shop where you get your stars taken away so the cops will stop chasing you. But I was like, no, I gotta hear this entire song. So I just led them on a chase around simulated Los Angeles because I was like, I gotta hear this. I've only done that for one other song in GTA 5, and that's Hollywood Nights by Bob Seger.
Okay, a little Bobby Siegs, Bobby Siegs. That does bring up an interesting question. I'm gonna ask people from now on: is if you were in a police chase, what song are you gonna put on the radio to like juice your driving skills? You know what I mean? You know what I go with? I go with the soundtrack from Drive. I'm fucking.
Oh, good one.
I'm immediately crash into the back of like a. Zuri, what song are you listening to if you're in a police chase?
I'm so glad you asked. I was just thinking about this. The first thing I thought of was Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, but maybe
Bodies hit the floor.
That's what you put on when you're speeding through a school zone, just fucking mowing down kids.
Yeah, or when I get slammed onto a cruiser or something. The other one, Rough Riders Anthem. I think that's
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Like,
I think
Rough Riders Anthem is up.
That one works if the police chase you're driving a four-wheeler. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Then,
we're off-road ATV, and I flip over, and that's it.
Jason is doing I Want It That Way. I'm doing the soundtrack from Drive.
Song.
It's a great song.
I never seek it out. I only wait for it to find me.
It finds you. It goes to you.
That's right.
That's how it works. That's how it works with all great things. Just like this podcast, it has found you, the listener. It's playing right now. Jason, you want to start the show?
Let's start the show.
From Wondery, I'm Shea Serrano.
And I'm Jason Concepcion.
And this is 6 Trophies.
Hello! I'm Jason Concepcion. Welcome to 6 Trophies, a podcast series hosted by myself and Shea Serrano, which we come through all the NBA news of the past week and then hand out 6 pop culture themed trophies for 6 basketball related activities in this episode. The NBA Cup, the second annual NBA Emirates Cup is over. The Brooklyn Nets are tanking. And 10,000 steps a day is overrated. All that and more. Everybody, let's hand out some trophies.
I don't know why right now I just thought about, I was picturing Zuri.
Yeah.
And he's gone on a date.
Right.
And then he's taken his date back home. And
all 6'6" of him. Yeah.
They're making out on the couch, and it's clear that sex is about to happen. And he's like, let me put some music on. And then walks to his radio and he presses play. And then let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah. Mood music. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he like turns back to her. She's like on the couch, like stunned, and he does like this little like, and like a little shoulder jiggle as he comes back to the couch.
She's grabbing
Or
she's
that part happens. He turns back to her, and then he recreates the scene from The One where Jet Li fights while let the bodies hit the floor. He's just doing kung fu in front of her. And it turns out he wasn't. She was thinking sex, and he was thinking, no, I'm going to show you my karate. That's what I'm going to show you.
More than that, he's got one of those. He's got one of those round wooden dummies with the the sticks coming off, and he's just like.
You guys are putting my moves out there on the airwaves. You know, we got to keep this secret. You can't let everyone know what I do. You're right.
If you walk into somebody's house and they have the wooden sparring kung fu cylinder in their home, what are you thinking?
I'm so excited. I'm
Me too. I'm like, let me get into it.
Straight into it. I got to try this
show me some stuff.
I got to. We do 2 sets of trophies, the big trophies and the little trophies. The big trophies are first. These ones are the same every week. First up, the Denzel Washington and Training Day trophy given out to whoever it is who had the best overall performance of the week. This week's winner, Jason, the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, hey, I love an upset. I did not.
They won?
They won.
They're good?
They're good.
Are they good now?
Giannis was a fucking beast. Nobody could handle him. SGA, I thought this guy was a top 3 player of the league. What happened? He disappeared. Every Brook Lopez 3 felt like a fucking backbreaker. And it was close for the first half, but I'm shocked at the degree to which I feel like OKC just kind of let go of the rope mid-4th quarter. Like, just kind of stopped. Jalen had a terrible game. SGA had a terrible game. Like, it was concerning. It's concerning.
We talked about after the Rockets and the Thunder played, and the Rockets were able to keep up with the Thunder for a little bit, and then it just became, all right, well, we have SGA. Who do you have?
Yep.
And the Rockets were like, well, all right, you win. And this time it was like the exact same thing played out. It's a close game. It's a close game. It's a close game. And then the Bucks go, all right, we got Giannis. Who's your guy? Send him out. Send him to the center of the ring.
Yeah.
They're going to fight. They're going to fight now. And yeah, as you mentioned, Giannis was just,
oh man,
that's the best basketball he's played all year. His stat line, what do you have, like 26 and 19 or something like that. It was like, you look at it and you're not blown away, but you watch the game and you're like, this guy's fucking not losing this game at all. He's just so impactful. He's everywhere all of the time, just disrupting whatever the Thunder were trying to do. It was a wonderful game from him.
26, 19 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. He just seemed stronger than everybody.
That's pretty impressive.
He just legitimately seemed stronger than everybody. And you know what else? He's doing the LeBron 5 years ago thing now, Shay, where
What's that?
where when he falls down, he pretends that his leg hurts and he gets like an extra minute of rest by just like laying on the court for an extra minute. He's doing that. Like, that wisdom is developing. And I mean, just an incredibly impressive, hard-nosed game. They were dominant, and it makes you wonder, okay, see a little bit of a simplistic offense. What do they have if the shot is not falling? Obviously, Chet not being here changes things, but I think it's a little bit of a concerning outcome for the Thunder.
Yeah, we should talk about that when we get to the next trophy, because they're going to win the next trophy, the Lauryn Hill. But for the Bucks, when this game was over, did you feel like, we got to take them serious now? Or did you feel like when the Lakers won the cup last year and like, oh, well, congratulations, but the Celtics are still going to win the title?
Yeah, I think you have to. I think Giannis is one of those guys. There's a handful of those guys, and he put his flag down and said, I'm still one of those guys. And when he has it going like this, there's not a lot anybody could do. When he decides with a head of steam, I'm going to go to the rim, you're either going to foul him or he's going to score over you, but he's going to make something happen. He's too big, too long, too strong. If he stays healthy, it's going to take a Herculean effort. But I think you have to say this is a dangerous team now. It's the highest scoring duo in the league, Damon and Giannis. If Brook Lopez is hitting his shots, that's big. AJ Green hitting his shots, that's big. And they just looked like a dangerous, dangerous team. Do you want to play them in a 7-game series? I don't think so.
I don't think you do. Watching them through the cup, watching Giannis, especially in this game, it reminded me a little bit of their championship run, where if we just pick like one tiny part of it, during that playoffs, there was a big storyline about Giannis's free throw shooting.
Right. At
the same time, there was just Ben Simmons was struggling with his free throw shooting.
Right.
And it seemed like Giannis just went, all right, well, I might miss 20 free throws this game, but I'm going to get 20 free throws this game no matter what. You know what I mean? And this game here, it seemed like the same thing. He got the ball and he's like, I'm going to make something happen. I'm going to bang into somebody. I'm going to get a shot up. I'm going to get a rebound. I'm going to get on the floor and wrestle for a loop. I'm going to make something happen every single time down the court. And you're going to wilt because you're not me. You're not who I am. He looked at SGA and he said, you didn't put up a 50-point championship closing performance. I did that. Come on, let's try again. And SGA couldn't do it.
It was not what you want to see from a guy who's going to be an MVP candidate. I do wonder how this affects the voting down the line. But the other thing that really impressed me was Giannis. You remember when he was like flirting with the three, like, that was kind of the discourse too around them, was like, whether he makes it or not, he's got to develop a three. He's not doing that anymore. He's a heat-seeking missile missile that is looking to score around the rim out to like 15, 16 feet. And I just don't think anybody, you can't handle him down there. If he gets one step, the momentum is too much. He is like a fucking 6'11" Shaq. It is crazy to watch him play like that. And again, you just felt like he was everywhere on the court. And I was shocked at how little I felt SGA and the rest of the Thunder.
There was a stretch, I think it was in the second quarter. I might be getting a piece or two of this wrong. I'm just trying to recall it. But they get the ball to Giannis. He's at the corner of the free throw line. It's him and Jalen Williams. And he just gives him a little turnaround jumper. Just boom. You can't block this shot. And that's when the announcers were talking about how he had worked on abandoning the three and just focusing on mid-range jumper. So they go down. He does that. Jalen's a good defender. Yeah. He does it over Jalen. And then on the very next possession, they switch and they try to put Caruso on him. No. He's too small. Yeah. Caruso's a great defender.
Great perimeter.
And as soon as Giannis was like, that's him?
Yeah, that's the answer.
Give me the ball.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Give me the ball. And then he got an even easier shot and you're like, fuck, and then I was just so impressed with Giannis. This is my favorite Giannis performance of like the last year and a half, it felt like.
Yeah. Titanic performance, triple-double in a game like this, and the kind of triple-double it was. And
then talking shit afterwards. As the game was over.
Doing the 500. To see that 500. Fire. Hell yeah.
Give me my money.
I was surprised to see the Bucks won the rebounding battle too, which I think, especially down the stretch, was really important because the OKC just could not generate second chance points. They were getting out-muscled down there. And that's not a thing that should happen. Hartenstein was brought in to kind of fix that. And he had 12 rebounds. Dort had 8, but was in foul trouble. Everybody else, it's like 4 rebounds, 3 rebounds. That's not good enough, especially if you're not going to shoot well. And man, Giannis was like a fucking beast tonight. A beast.
They called it out early too, right when the game was starting. They were saying this is size versus speed.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I think the 500. I think the 500 should be there. Don't you think? Like they should bring it out at the end,
like the World Series of Poker.
Yes, like
just
on a big
the scores table.
Yeah, just like bring it out, and then they all go in and just like Adam Silver like picks up a stack of cash and hands it to each guy as they go by.
Next trophy. The Laurel Hill, you might win some, but you just lost one trophy. Given out to whoever it is who had the worst performance of the week. This week's winner, the OKC Thunder. They blew it. They blew it. They're supposed to win. This is, you want to be a title contender, a true title contender, you got to win this game. You got to do it. Now we're not afraid of you anymore.
You gotta be competitive in this game too, which I guess for a half you could say they were, but they just faded away. I was, Dagnall pulled his guys with like 3 minutes left in the game. Mm-hmm. I was shocked. Mm-hmm. I was fucking shocked. I could not believe it. To throw in the towel that early, and there's a lot of, maybe we'll just forget about this. Of course, like this loss doesn't count with the weirdness of the NBA Cup. Like it just goes away. Yeah. That none of the stats count. None of the record doesn't count against OKC. But I think you have to, like Jalen Williams, basically a no-show. SGA had a bad game. Wasn't catalytic to the rest of the offense at all. And
8 for 24 from him.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. And
it felt like nobody else, they were looking for him to step up, and when he didn't have it, nobody else could grab it. And it just, they wilted away in shocking fashion. I think you have to question them to an extent. They seem vulnerable.
That's the exact thing I was going to ask you, because if we look at the last high stakes games that we've watched the Thunder play, was this game.
Yep.
The rest of the cup is whatever, but when you get to the last game, you want to win the last game. This is an important game. I know the stats don't count, as you're saying, but everybody's going to remember watching this game.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we have this game, and then we have the series against the Mavericks, where they were supposed to beat the Mavericks.
Yep.
And Luka in that series did what Giannis did here. All right, it's our guy versus your guy. We got Luka, you got SGA. Put him in the center of the ring and let's fight. And it's not a storyline yet. It's not a like they can't win the game, but all of a sudden we're peeking over the bushes a little bit to see what they're gonna do.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first game that OKC have lost by double digits. They had not lost by double digits all season. So not only was it kind of a shocking performance, but it was like their by far loss in which, an MVP level guy kind of planted the flag right in their face. Like basically said, to your point, like, you're not ready yet. I'm that guy.
It's disappointing.
I agree.
I like the Thunder. I would like to see them in the finals. I would like to see what they do. And again, you mentioned it a couple of minutes ago, but Chet isn't there. Sure. But does Chet solve all of the problems that we just watched happen right here? You know what I mean? I'm not sure that he does.
I don't know, because really, if I had to boil it down, it was a physicality problem. They're a great defensive team because of their positioning, of their length, quick hands, and their instincts. They're not like except for Dort, like, I'm going to grab you by the neck and not let you go, get away from me. And so I think for me, the biggest question mark is like, are they physical enough? Now, maybe Chet does fix some of that. He has, as we've said many times, he's a guy with an edge to him, but it feels a little like they got punked. And I know it's December, but it felt like that.
It does feel like that, especially in light of, if you go back and look at after the Rockets Thunder game, I believe they were talking, because that game is physical, because that's what the Rockets do.
Yeah, make you uncomfortable.
In lieu of to correct the lack of talent that they have when they're playing a top tier team, they just muscle you to death is what they try to do. And after the game, they were asking Alex Caruso about that. And he was like, yeah, they try to beat us up a little bit, but that's who we are too. We're like, he was talking like they were that team that was going to do that. And then Giannis shows up and he starts doing his Giannis thing. And nobody on the other team wanted to match that. And it's that to me, it's a little concerning. It's a little, I'm 20% concerned right now.
Do you think at any point in time SGA has been like the best guy in the league? Like the thing about Giannis to me is like on any given night, he can be the best guy where you're like, okay, that's the best player in the world. Like and tonight, like clearly he was that kind of guy. SGA, yeah, you wonder now with the slipperiness and the beautiful moves but what else? If the shot isn't falling, okay, what else? And the answer for what else was nothing else tonight. They couldn't generate second chance points. They could not get a shot to drop. They were not getting fouled. Like it was tough. Very tough.
Yeah. I don't think, as much as I love the Thunder, I can't think of a time when I watched a game or when I finished watching the slate of games one night in the season, and my takeaway was I just watched the best player in the league in SGA. I don't think I've thought that before. You obviously think that you've thought that about Giannis at times. You've thought that about Luka, the Joker, Jason Tatum has put up games when you're like,
that's that guy.
That's the best guy in the league. And I don't know that I've seen. I can't say for certain that I've seen that from SGA, and I'm a little concerned.
Now the Thunder will say, as they have been, I think, really strident about saying that, like, oh, we're taking each step as it comes. We're not trying to skip steps. We're not putting pressure on ourselves to be like great now. I kind of like call bullshit, to be honest with you, because you don't like go out and plug holes by adding Caruso, by adding Hartenstein without thinking we've measured ourselves and we can go for it. And in that light, you have to, I would imagine that they're going back to the drawing board just a little bit, because this is the kind of loss where other teams go, okay, study that one.
Yeah. Here's what we do.
Yeah.
Here's the blueprint for how we beat these guys. And it's not like we watched them barely lose in the finals or something. Like they're 2 steps away. Last year they were 2 steps away, and I think you kind of have to put them still behind, at least behind the Mavs in the West anyway. You know what I mean? Like that. Like after tonight, that's what we saw, Jason.
I sadly agree. I was shocked. I was big time shocked. As my mom would say, I am shocked.
I also am shocked. Next trophy, the Dominic Toretto I'd live my life a quarter mile at a time trophy, given out to whoever it is who made a short-term decision with no regard for future consequence. This week's winner, Shams Charania, reporting on Jimmy Butler trade rumors. Jason, will you lay out what's going on here, because it's wonderful.
I will,
and I am pro Shams for this.
I'm very pro Shams, but we stepped into a little bit of a feud that's been going on last week. So last week, Shams tweeted that the Heat are open to listing offers for Jimmy Butler. He's not the only one that's reported. This has been widely reported, and it's honestly pretty obvious. I mean, Pat Riley came out at the end of the season last year and basically said, we're not extending Jimmy Butler. And then took him to task for, trolling the Knicks and other teams. Anyway, Shams posted this, and then Jimmy Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, who you can see in Netflix's The Starting Five, posted the following, quote, "All right, listen." I love when
that's a start.
Post,
That's a start.
What a start. What a start to an internet post. All right, listen. Hey, buddy. Quote, "All right, listen. I gave you a pass yesterday because I was busy. But if you don't stop putting my name on your complete and utter made up bullshit, because you normally aren't worth my time to acknowledge."
What?
And then he continued, I don't know what I'm going to do because I'm a middle-aged dad, but I just know it would indicate severe dislike. World, all this is fabricated. I have never, and honestly, it wouldn't help me or the position I represent to do anything that's been reported by said, air quotes, journalist. Now, this has been like going on for a while. Shams later came out on First Take, I think, as he needed to do, and says, like, I stand by my reporting. It's fully vetted. This is what I do, yada, yada, yada. But this has been going on a while. Bernie posted something similar a few years back, like a couple years ago, and as a response to a Shams post. And something's between them has occurred. I don't know what it is, but it's clearly personal.
I think what's going on here, I would assume, is that it's got to be a little bit annoying or a lot of bit annoying if like your job is you handle all of these things over here that nobody's supposed to know about, and there's a guy who seems to always get the information. And he just is telling everybody. He's telling millions of people via social media, via television. Like the guy he knows the stuff he's not supposed to know. That's got to be a little bit frustrating. I imagine that's what this is, because Shams he's always in the mix. If a guy's gonna know a thing, if a guy's gonna know a thing, he's the guy who's gonna know the thing. This isn't just some other person who just like is saying things on the internet. This is the guy who's supposed to know the stuff. He knows the stuff. And it sucks that he knows your information. I would hate for him to be digging into my information, and he's now posting about how I'm eating, I'm supposed to be dieting, but I keep sneaking Taco Bell in on the way home from work. I don't want him to tell people I stopped at McDonald's and got a cheeseburger on the way to the gym. You know what I mean?
I'll just say this. We don't know what's going on.
We don't. No idea.
We don't. But if anybody does, and they want to drop us a line, we'd love to get into the sourced information business. And they just want to drop us like an anonymous DM or something, and just be like, here's what happened. Here's the genesis of this. Let us know, because I think I would just love to know. It's fascinating. And it is clearly like, because honestly, the Shams post, it seems pretty innocuous. Like, I think that's not news to anybody that the Heat are looking to potentially move up and get a player that fits them better. Jimmy's got a history of rocking the boat wherever he goes. And he had a great game last night that the Heat then wasted and lost the game. But be that as it may, Jimmy, I think it's fair to say maybe on the downside of his peak. And so it didn't seem like that out of pocket a post from Shams. So I think we would just all love to know what happened. So if you happen to know, hit us up.
Send us a message.
Share the goss. Share the tea.
I am on the other side. I don't want to know. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care about the origin.
I'm not going to tell you when I find out.
Yeah, when you find out, you just, I don't need to know.
That's right. Just keep it like that.
I just like that my guy Shams is out here like not backing down. He's not afraid.
He has to do that.
I got good information. I'm not backing down. Good.
And he did it with Stephen A on First Take, like the loudest, biggest megaphone in the business, to be like, no, this is correct. What I'm doing is correct. It's right.
Great.
Yeah. You think ESPN's going to hire me for millions of dollars to just be like,
to be wrong?
Making stuff up? No, come on.
No. That's why they hired me, because I got the phone numbers in my phone. I get the messages. I got him.
Okay, Bernard.
You should call him Bernard one time. Do it.
What a flex. Do you ever do that? You ever be feuding with somebody and just call them their full government name? Okay, Bernard.
Yes. Zuralopoulos. When I got mad at Zuri that one time, I called him and I was like, Zuralopoulos, let me talk. I need to talk to you about something. That's his full. So, that's the only time I've done it. Next trophy, the Daniel Plainview. I've abandoned my child. I've abandoned my boy trophy. I'm just giving out to a player team who has temporarily given up on something. This week's winner, the Brooklyn Nets, for abandoning Dennis Schroder and likely their entire season. It's just, they're done. We're done trying. We want to get a better draft pick. That's what we're doing now. Dennis starts playing great back. He's like, hey, they said, hey, you're playing too well. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Career highs? We don't want it. Get out.
Get out. Get out. Dennis has like a history. Man, what an interesting like career history this guy has had, because he's always like, he plays well at different times and teams want to invest. But then there was like, for instance, that famous incident where he just picked wrong in free agency and ended up going for less money, not to the Lakers. And then people kind of forget about him, but then like usually he'll play well in international play that will carry over into the NBA play. And all of a sudden teams are like, wait a second, Dennis Schroder can help us, can he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He goes to Golden State. Brooklyn gets back DeAnthony Melton, Reese Beekman, and then 3 second-round draft picks. Like that's Golden State gets Schroder and then a 2025 man. Who cares? Who cares? All that we know is that Dennis Schroder is now on the Golden State Warriors. And when this happened, same as you, I started thinking about his career because he seems to play well wherever he lands. But he's been now on 8 different teams over 8 seasons. Which I didn't realize. I knew he had been around, but I assumed he's not been on that many teams. But no, 8 teams in 8 seasons.
He's done the rainbow. He's completed the rainbow, Shay. The Shaq rainbow. He's completed the full Roy G. Biv.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Which I would like him on the Spurs. Come to the Spurs next, Schroder. Come on. Would you like him on the Knicks backing up? Jalen Brunson sits down.
Yeah, I would not mind him on the Knicks, surely. And the Nets, I think it says a lot about the quality of a player that the Nets are like, you're helping us win too much. Stop it. Get out of here. We need to do it. Somebody else. Now, you might argue Brandon Podziemski, who's in a mighty struggle right now as a member of the Golden State Warriors. It's a big problem because this is a guy who was tapped as
great last
untouchable in various trade rumors. He got absolutely like throttled by Luka Doncic in a absolutely thrilling Mavericks win the other night. And maybe the Nets should have picked up Podziemski. Maybe they should have insisted, give us Podziemski. This guy sucks.
What does this do for Golden State? They're 8th in the West right now as we record. 14 and
this
11.
is a Podziemski move. Yeah, it's like Podziemski has struggled as his minutes have increased. As he's become like a major figure in the backcourt, and certainly whenever Steph Curry is not in the lineup, the Warriors are in trouble because he's the only guy that can create his own shot. So now you have Dennis Schroder, who. Listen, he's not an all-star, but he's a solid guy, and he's a guy that in different situations can create his own offense, can get the offense going. And I think this is the Warriors saying we need somebody because Podziemski is not the guy we thought he was.
Mm-hmm. Podziemski is only shooting 24% from 3 this season, which is 24.7. Let's give him the 0.7. That's not great. When last season he was hovering around 40% for pretty much the whole the whole 82 games into the playoffs, whatever. And then this year he just sort of fell off a cliff. And now here comes Dennis, Big Dennis. Get him in here.
I think the scariest part for Podziemski, the long range shooting, you have to believe it'll come back, but he's only shooting 52% from the rim. Like if you're only making half your shots that should be layups, that's bad.
Yeah.
Severely bad.
It will if we fast forward 8 months, will Brandon be on the Warriors?
I think so. I think
so too.
I think he's young enough to figure it out and maybe sit on the bench for a little while and I think he doesn't play like his confidence is shot, but it certainly looks like it. Just in the way he's shooting and the way he's playing. So, let him stabilize and maybe it'll be better. It might also be that, more minutes. Maybe that was his minutes limit right now. Maybe that was his ceiling. Right. Maybe that was like as the maximum number of minutes last year that he could play to be effective. And I think the increased role maybe is something he's not ready for.
Yeah. Next trophy. The Chief Keef, that's that shit I don't like trophy. We're just giving out to a player team who does something, and we just don't like it. We don't like it. A special winner this week. This week's winner, Jason Concepcion, walking around at the NBA Cup in Las Vegas, just totally lost and abandoned.
I've got a rant. So
tell us what happened, Jason.
So I went to the NBA Cup semifinals in Las Vegas last weekend. I purposefully booked a hotel that you can look it up on the map. It's the Hampton Inn Tropicana. It's legitimately across the street. It's, if you Google map it, it's 0.3 miles. It's a third of a mile. That's like a 5-minute, 8-minute walk, whatever, in normal times.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, Vegas is weird walking. I know that. I've been to Vegas many times, but at a minimum, when I call Ubers and stuff, like it'll be faster and it'll be no problem. Okay. I get there. I could see the arena from the front of the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
First day, I go to the T-Mobile Arena. I take my Uber there. It's fantastic. I watch Bucks Hawks. Big Bucks win. I'm like, I want to go to In-N-Out. In-N-Out is like on the corner in between the Hampton Inn Tropicana and T-Mobile Arena. You could see it. It's right there. Somehow I end up walking 1.5 miles. I get trapped on like a back road adjacent to Tropicana Avenue that was like only for like deliveries. I can't call an Uber there. Nobody can come pick you up there. You're just like marooned. The only way to get back to the Strip is to walk like 2 miles down and then make a right. I end up cutting into a building because I see this entrance that's like on the back of the Bellagio. It turns out to be like the Bellagio employees entrance. I just walk in. Security guard was like looking at his phone. So I walk in. I think, awesome, I made it. Then I look up. There's like this big wall with huge portraits of like the employees of the month. I'm like, that's weird. I look to my left. Here's like 12 people with like garment bags in like black pants coming, like clearly like dealers that work in the casino coming. Mm-hmm. I look to my right. There's just like those back hallways of a place like a casino, like the place that George Clooney is released into at the end of Ocean's 11. You know, like it looks like that. So I walk back to the security guard. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how do I get back to the Strip? And he's like, what? And then he was like, have you just invaded this place? He like interrogated me for like 5 minutes and then finally was like, okay, go there, wave your hand in front of that door and it'll pop open. You can get out. I walk back. I have to walk 1.5 miles, another 1.5 miles back to the arena. And I had to eat at Spago at the bar because it was like, I don't know when I'm going to see food again. What is Vegas? It's hell. What is happening? You feel like you're trapped like in a gerbil bowl and you just can't get out. I just want to go to In-N-Out. It's right there. People are like, well, that's how it is in Vegas. Everything is farther than it seems. No, it's wrong. It's close, but they keep you separated. There's like a fence and a wall and a maze in between you and the thing that's less than 1/2 mile away. I just want a fucking cheeseburger.
See, that's why I don't go to Vegas.
Nuts. And so that's why I say to you, this is what I say to you, whoever designed the footpaths in Vegas. And part of it also was like, I did Google it and it was like 35-minute walk. And I figured, okay, I need to like work off the pounds. Like I need to get my exercise in. I can do 35 minutes. But the sidewalks were all torn up. There was all this construction that nobody, and by the way, no construction workers, nobody like at work.
Just torn to shit.
Just torn to shreds. So you couldn't get anywhere. So I say to you, whoever is in charge of infrastructure in Las Vegas, you're going to get your ass beat. You get your ass beat. You know why? You want to know why you're going to get the brakes beaten off you? Because my friend Shay's been taking boxing lessons, and he's and I'm sending him, and I am sending him to you. And when he eventually finds you by walking around 5, 6, 10 miles and finds wherever you're at, he's gonna whoop your ass.
That's true. That's all true. Zuri, play the Rocky music. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bong, bum, ba, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, ba, ba. Shay just like with his hoodie up, jogging through the streets of
Yes.
Vegas, dawn breaking over the desert.
Looking for the city designer. Where is he? Where is she? We're fighting
Man,
whoever
Vegas.
you are.
What a mess.
What a mess. What a mess. Jason, speaking of boxing, the other night when I went to class was the first time that I got to be in the ring with another student, with like not a coach, not hitting the mitts, but with another student.
How'd it feel?
It was very exciting. I really enjoyed it. I was so pumped until I got hit. And I was like, hold on a second.
And they, stop, hold on.
Hold on. No, they had us doing, the coach had us doing this drill where you're like, there's like a line in the ring and you're lined up on the line and the guy's opposite of you. And he throws 2 punches, you parry the 2 punches, and then you come back and you swing at him. And, parry, throw a 2, and then he blocks a 2. And then you just are repeating this pattern. You're walking down, he's punching, and then you go back the other way, and now you're punching. And there are 3 people that were in the class when I was doing it, and the other guy, he's the same height as me. He's about 5'7". So we're matched up nice. Our arms are the same length. It's great.
Zuri, fix that in post that he's 6'7".
But then the other guy, the third person from the class comes in. He's young, first of all. He's a junior in college. And he's like 6'4", maybe 6'3" at the shortest. So now his arms reach out and I'm fucking 4 feet away from him. And so he throws his jabs, and now his jabs are invading my space and I'm trying to parry him. And then when I go to throw my 2, I'm a solid 2 feet from hitting him anywhere. I gotta jump all the way in there. It's crazy trying to fight a tall guy. It was not easy. If we fought for real, he'd beat the shit out of me. I would never even get to touch him because he's 6'4" is too big. That's too big.
Nah, you got that low center of gravity. He can't get to you. If there was like no rules, right?
No rules, I would be okay.
Yeah. You'd
I'll
flatten
punch
that guy.
him right in the dick. So
That's
fast.
right. That's the same. That's what I do.
But
not
boxing
fucking
rules, no.
Yeah.
And he's young and he's big and he's strong. Like when he hits, it's hard. I hope that's not the city designer, is what I'm saying. Because then I hope it's not him. Next trophy, the Haley Joel Osment and the Sixth Sense I See Dead People trophy, given out to whoever it is who had the best comeback of the week. This week's winner, oh my God, I'm so happy. Gregg Popovich, the king. The king. He's still recovering. He's still in recovery, but he offered an update on his health this week. Just sort of saying, it's been an unexpected 6 weeks for me and my family, but I'm working back. It's a beautiful statement just to see some positive words coming out from the Spurs. They released a statement from Gregg Popovich, and then it ends, of course, with a joke saying that the people who are like rehabilitating him are ready for him to be back to the bench because he's less than coachable, which is hilarious. Gregg Popovich, the king. The greatest basketball coach who has ever lived. Get Phil Jackson the fuck out of here. Get out of here,
agree.
Phil Jackson.
Fuck off.
Go away.
With your little triangles. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Gregg Popovich, the greatest to ever do it. And he's coming back, baby. I just want him to be healthy and happy. Coaching basketball or not, just do whatever makes you happy, Gregg Popovich.
That's it.
You have done everything you needed to do.
Back.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
You got
whatever you need.
A fistful of championship rings.
That's right.
Greg.
You've got nothing left to prove.
You're untouchable.
That's
Your legacy is cemented. And then just living in San Antonio, Jason, Gregg Popovich is around going to various restaurants. He likes his glass of wine, doing what he has a sterling reputation amongst the restaurants in San Antonio because he shows up, orders a bunch of food and drink for everybody, and then leaves a giant tip and never says anything about it.
Hell yeah.
That's how you move in the world right there.
Let me just say this,
That's how you move
Greg,
in the world.
Mr. Popovich, Coach Pop, I'm going to be in San Antonio March for Knicks Spurs. Let's get a bite. What do you say? Pop, me, you, and Shay. Zuri could come. No, forget it. No, sorry.
I'm busy. Anyways, I didn't want to come. I'm busy. No thanks.
If you were out and you just like when you were in Vegas, if you just saw him walking by, what would you call him? What would you say? What would it, how would you refer?
I think Coach
Mr.
Pop
Popovich?
or Mr. Popovich.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
or Coach. Oh, I'll say this. I saw Mike Breen. When Breen walked into the arena, like kind of right by me. I was like one section up from like the lowest section. And I yelled, "Mike Breen, bag!" And he looked up and he gave me a fist pump.
Hell yeah. I love that. Mike Breen.
That's what I do
Seems
to Pop.
awesome.
I'd be like, "Coach Pop!" He doesn't have a catchphrase, so I'd just be like, "Coach Pop!"
And then that's
Something.
it.
What up? give me a
I always panic whenever I see somebody that I would like to meet. Like I saw David Robinson one time, and in my head I was like, I'm going to make this guy my best friend. And when it happened in real life, I didn't say one single word, not one word to him. I just handed him a basketball.
That's what I do. Yeah. I always pretend like I don't know who the fuck the person is.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
The more I'm like freaking out, the more I act like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Like,
What
who
did
are
you say? LeBron? Who? You said your name was?
What?
Oh, that's cool.
You're
name.
very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. You want to do the little trophies?
Let's do them.
Let's do the little trophies. These ones change each week and are situation specific. They're for the smaller storylines that we want to mention, but don't need to get all the way into. My first little trophy. The Calogero in A Bronx Tale 11. I made 11 passes in a row. I don't know how much money Sonny won, but it was a lot. Trophy. To Trae Young, who played dice at the Oh, let me explain if you've not seen A Bronx Tale. That's what's happening there. He's playing dice in the basement with the gangsters. He's a little tiny kid. But to Trae Young, he gets that trophy because he played dice at center court in Madison Square Garden as the final seconds ticked off the clock of the game where his Hawks knocked the Knicks out of the NBA Cup, decides to just lean down and play some dice. What a move. What a move.
I hate him, and I hate how hard that went. Like,
yeah.
What can you say? It did
celebration.
Good. I hated it, but it did go hard. My first little trophy is the Tina Turner. You're simply the best. Trophy 2. To Marguerite, who works at the Hampton Tropicana. There's some good people in Las Vegas. I get down day of the games to the continental breakfast at 10:15. Breakfast ends at 10. I sit at the bar thinking, I'm going to eat breakfast. Marguerite's like, are you here for breakfast? I'm like, yeah, did I miss it? She's like, I'll get something from the back. She comes out with eggs, potatoes, couple scones. She got me a couple scones. She got me a muffin. The works. Marguerite, you are simply the best.
Best. What kind of muffin was it? Was it a blueberry muffin?
It was like a blueberry muffin. And then the scone was some kind of very, almost like a frosted scone. Their coffee tasted like fucking poison, though. But I'm thankful, Marguerite, for that because that made my day. It really did. Yeah. And I needed that fuel for the 5-mile walk that I was going to go on later.
My next little trophy, the Nina Simone, I put a spell on you trophy. That trophy goes to Dyson Daniels, who said the New Orleans Pelicans are cursed, and I'm glad I don't play there anymore. Just came out, they are cursed, and I'm glad I'm not there.
I mean,
it's kind of hard to argue.
It's kind of hard to argue, man. What a cutting remark from the great barrier thief. My next little trophy is the Uncle Ben from Spider-Man with great power comes great responsibility trophy. 2, I'm giving it to myself for being reckless and irresponsible with my musings. And here is the musings that I've been recklessly thinking to myself. This has no basis in fact, but I've been thinking it. Mm-hmm. Jared McCain, it was announced that he's got a knee injury.
Horrible news.
Terrible, terrible news. He's been one of the absolute highlights, not just for the Sixers who have needed it, but for the league.
For the league.
The wording of the announcement I found to be interesting. It said, McCain informed the team that he was experiencing soreness, which led me to, again, reckless, baseless speculation in my own mind. He hurt that knee TikTok dancing, didn't he?
Oh my goodness.
Why did he have to tell them?
Oh my goodness.
Why wouldn't if he heard it in a
Don't
game
do
or in
that.
practice?
Don't do
wouldn't
that.
Wouldn't it be at the gym? And then he just why did he have to come in and tell them?
Don't do that.
Anyway,
He's
again,
probably
that's completely reckless and baseless.
so reckless.
And I'm not living up to the great power
Yes,
and responsibility
good
that
job,
I have.
Jerry. Good
And
boot.
I'm ashamed of myself for thinking it, but I did think it. I thought it.
Terrible. Terrible, my last little trophy. The Adam Driver and the Dead Don't Die. I have an affinity for Mexicans. They're like my favorite people. Trophy. To the NBA, who is reportedly eyeing Mexico City as a potential destination and expansion, Jason. If they put a team in Mexico City, guess what? I'm moving back to Mexico, baby. All of those Trump supporters who are always telling me, go back to Mexico. If we get an NBA team, I'm going.
Vamos a Mexico City. Ciudad Mexico. Never mind. My last little trophy is the Passion Pit. A sleepy head. Trophy 2. PJ Washington for doing the Steph Curry night. He doubled it up. He did it on both sides.
Yeah, buddy.
At the end,
Yeah, buddy.
He put the pillow on both sides of the head, and he did it at the end of the Mavericks' huge, dominant win over Golden State. Luka Doncic went absolutely insane in the game, and it was a big win, and PJ Washington enjoyed it. And I enjoyed seeing him do the little night on both sides of the head.
We talked a lot about PJ Washington last season. I was happy to see him pop back up. Yes.
Yeah.
I missed you. I missed you, Jason. We did it again.
Let's go.
Another perfect episode. I can't believe it. The streak continues. We close every episode just by saying the names of underappreciated old basketball players with no context at all while the theme music carries us out. Zuri, will you play the theme music, please? I'm Shea Serrano. That's Jason Concepcion. Producer Zuri in the shadows making the noises. See y'all next week. Jason, I'm doing all boy bands. That's what I'm doing. All boy bands. Let's go with New Kids on the Block.
I'm doing famous Vegas residents. Number 1, I have to start with Celine.
Ooh,
Celine
great.
Dion.
Let's go with New Edition.
Ooh. How about the iconic duo? They've been at the Rio Hotel for a long time, Penn and Teller.
How about O-Town? Remember O-Town?
O-Town! Well, they're from Orlando? Was that what the thing
Yeah.
was? Yeah. Long Island native. His brother owned the guitar store that I used to go to. Chris Angel of
Ooh,
Mind Freak fame.
Mind Freak.
Mind Freak.
There's a period where my parents and my uncles were all obsessed with Chris Angel Mind Freak. How about the Jackson 5? Let's go
love
way
Jackson
back.
Five. Classic.